Hey everybody, my name's Rashida and I am the Ally Coach. Welcome to Just the Beginning. And as you can see, there's no guest today. It's just me, and it's for a very special reason. I have some things to talk to you all about, and I want to make sure that I give you my undivided attention. So, right now it's the beginning of December, maybe like the second week of December, 2024. And last week I taught a class with Simone Soul. Here's the deal. If you have not met, heard of, or been in the virtual space of Simone Soul, this is what I want you to do. Would you press pause? Pause it right now, because you can come back. Pause, open a new little window there. And I want you to go to like Instagram, whatever, her website, you know what I'm talking about? Go check out Simone. If you are in business, if you are a human helping other humans, you need to be in her space. The woman's a genius, and she teaches all kinds of wonderful things that are so helpful for business and for life. So go there. I partner with her. She's my homie. I partner with her, and we created a really excellent class. This class is called Practical Allyship for Life and Business. And the the main thing in that title, the probably like the most important thing in that title is the word practical. I think a lot of people get hung up inside of their ally journey because if they think that it needs to look a certain way, that they need to behave a certain way, allies are good people and good people look like this and they do these things. And there's a lot of outside expectations. Society is giving you all kinds of mixed messages. And because of that, it can get confusing. It can get confusing and it can be something overwhelming and something that you just kind of want to back out of because it's just a little bit too much. Or there's no way that you know for sure that you can do it right. So you leave. And this class that we taught makes sure that you know that none of those thoughts are helpful. None of those thoughts are helpful in your ally journey. They're just not. And that you can have a sustainable ally journey where your burnout, now I'm not saying you won't have burnout, but it will not last long because you know exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it and who you're doing it for. That sounds like a lot to be in one little 2-hour class. It is, but we did it. And so before the class, we gave everybody a free ebook. The thing is, this free ebook that we did is basically a digital version of the Allyship 101 class that I teach here in Indianapolis where I live. So I do a lot of Ally one-on-one classes at different organizations. Recently, I got to do one for a corporation that is actually worldwide, so we were on the interwebs together. But this is like my basic allyship one-on-one, right? And we put the information from those one-on-one classes in this free ebook. It's in the free ebook. It's pretty dope. I just want to tell you some of the things that we talk about in this free ebook because if you want to go to my bio and you want to sign up for this class, which you can sign up for this class at any point, if you see this video the second week of December 2025, guess what? You can still sign up and you can still get this free ebook. Also, if you sign up for my email list, you get the free ebook. You get the free ebook. You get it. And I want you to have it because there's a lot of really good personal work that's done. Also, if you sign up for the class, even if it's way a year from now, the information is still going to be important. It's still going to be valid and it's still going to help you to a sustainable ally journey. So, what I wanted to do is give you some information about what's going to be in the ebook, how I would like for you to go about filling it out so that you can be prepared to go on to the class, or it is really a good foundation if that is where you want to stop for now when it comes to your ally journey. But I'm going to tell you what, you're going to want to go to the class. You're gonna wanna go to the class because it's really good. It's a really good class. And I would not just be saying that. Like, I wouldn't be talking about it if I thought it wasn't that good. That's true. Okay. So, in this ebook, we start off talking about cultural humility. What I want you to do, or I would strongly encourage you to do. I sound very bossy on this video today. I don't mean to be so bossy, y'all. I'm sorry. What I would like to encourage you to do is to go to Google, and that's not even sarcastic. I would love for you to go to Google, type in what is cultural humility, because usually when I do that, I love what they give. They give really good information. But basically, cultural humility is a lifelong learning process where you are constantly being introspective, checking your own biases, relearning and unlearning things that you were programmed to learn as you were growing up about other people, to about groups to whom you do not belong, but also to about groups that you do belong. Because listen, we're all getting the same programming. We're all getting the same programming, and it falls differently on us depending where we are or who we are or what groups we identify with in the world. But we're all getting the same programming. So if you are a part of a minority group that has been villainized in society, you may have a little bit of that feeling about yourself, even because we all receive the same programming. Do you know what I'm saying? So a big portion and the most one of the most important portions of cultural humility as a mindset is the learning and unlearning of things that we were taught growing up, that you were taught growing up, that is stopping you from being able to be the human that you would like to be, human to human, right? Cultural humility also says that you know that you will be constantly learning. And what happens when most people learn, especially kids, right? When you're learning, you're going to get it wrong sometimes. And that is also something that society doesn't give us grace for, unfortunately. I don't know what happened and how this happened in history, but apparently you don't know anything at all in the world until you're 18 years old. And then once you turn 18, boom, pow, you know everything. I don't know. I don't know who decided that. I think it's just the most ridiculous thing in the whole world. So, cultural humility gives you the grace as long as you're willing to give yourself the grace to get things wrong. You're gonna get it wrong. Now, it depends on you what you do with that once you get it wrong. Are you going to be defensive? Are you going to be upset that someone called you out on being wrong? Are you going to deny or say that that's not what you meant and just be very ugh about it? Or are you going to take that information, say thank you for giving it to me, because whoever gave it to you came outside of their emotional labor for free, most likely, to let you know how you can do something better. Whether you like the way they said it or not, that's what they did, right? And you can either take that and say thank you and do better, or you can stay inside of your ego and be upset that somebody corrected you because you haven't learned that it's okay to get things wrong. That's really up to you. But I would strongly encourage you to do the latter. It's just really a lot easier when it comes to your journey to just accept the criticism, accept the correction, and then move on. That is cultural humility. Is understanding that you'll never know what it's like to be a part of a group that you don't belong to, but you are kind. But you are determined and what is the word? You are devoted and no, devoted is a good word, but what does it mean? Committed. That's the word. You are committed to constantly learning. You are committed to getting it right. You are committed to learning more and doing better every time you learn. That is cultural humility. Doing the inside work and being okay with being wrong because you're going to be wrong a lot. And so we talk about that first, and then we also talk about cultural humility in comparison to cultural competency. Listen, get the ebook. Get the ebook. It's good. I promise it is. I just won't steer you wrong. I would just rather be quiet than to steer you wrong. That's real. That's real. The next thing we talk about is I pose you a few questions, right? A couple of questions. One question is the first question would be, what is the first thing that people notice about you? When I do these trainings, I always go first. I give an example. So, one of the first things that I realize that I'm slow about, and I don't know why I'm slow about this, but people realize that I have purple hair. I personally, somewhere in my spirit, think that my hair should come out of my head purple, and I don't know why it doesn't, but it doesn't. So when I go to the store or go, I don't know, wherever, out in public, and people like do a double take, my initial response is always like, "What?" And then I'm like, "Oh, I have purple." Yes, we understand. Okay, goodbye. You know what I'm saying? Also things that people notice about me is that I'm short, that I am living in a fat body. Maybe they notice that I have a nose ring or that I wear glasses. These are all things that people probably notice about me if I'm just, walking through the parking lot trying to get into Target. Getting to Target. It's one of my favorite places to be. So I'm often in the parking lot trying to get into Target. Okay. So then we also ask the question, what's something that someone assumes about you but gets wrong and why? Mm. So again, I give my own example, and usually I do an example of how when people see me, like people have always said, like, "Oh, Rashida, you're always in a good mood." And when I was younger and I heard that, I felt the pressure to always be in a good mood. But that isn't fair. I'm a whole human who has a myriad of emotions. I get to have all the emotions too. And if you ask my husband or my daughter or my mama, they will let you know that I carry all the emotions. Most of the time, though, when people see me, they see me in a professional setting, they see me in a social setting, you know. And this is my default when I'm being social. This version of me, this what you're seeing right now, this isn't a fake version of me. This is just my social version. Do you know what I'm saying? But if I'm at home and I'm tired and my daughter has asked me the same question 14 times, maybe she's not going to get this version of me. Maybe she's going to get a version of me that's like, oh my God, will you leave me alone? No. She might get that version of me. They're all real, they're all valid, and they're all part of my human experience. So, the reason that they think I'm like this all the time is because they only see me in social settings. And yeah, that's something people assume about me but get wrong. And that's why. So I want to encourage you to answer those two questions. What is the first thing that people notice about you? Or what do you think is the first thing that people notice about you? And then what do people assume about you and get wrong and why? I want you to answer those questions for yourself. And then we talk about unearned and earned advantages. Unearned and unearned advantages and unearned disadvantages. That's what we talk about. We talk about unearned advantages and unearned disadvantages. The reason we talk about these is because sometimes people just aren't aware of the advantages that they have that they didn't necessarily earn. And so I want you to think about this for yourself, okay? Anytime you're a part of a majority group, that is an unearned advantage. It's an advantage that you have in life that you didn't do anything to earn. Now, you can't be blamed for it, but you also can't be given credit for it either. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I have some unearned advantages. I am straight. I am cisgender. I speak English in an English speaking country. I have my hearing. I am mostly able-bodied. I have, a 46-year-old's body, so I can't do the things that I could 20 years ago, but I'm mostly able-bodied. And yeah, I'm trying to think, what else do I have? I could go on and on. I'm right-handed. I'm the first sibling. I don't know if I feel like that is an advantage or not, being the first sibling. I think there could be a debate on that. Put in the comments. I want to hear from you because I like to ask this in my classes too. Put in the comments, what do you think about age order? Who has the advantage in age order? So let's say that it's a three-child household. The oldest child, the middle child, and the youngest child. Now, in my household, there's two. There's the oldest and the youngest. I definitely, for sure, 100% think that my brother has the advantage. He lived the easier life. My parents made all their mistakes on me. They were way more strict on me than they were on him. I feel like my brother had the advantage. But also because they were so strict on me, and because, they made all the mistakes on me, I have a really good close connection to them. Not that my brother doesn't, he does, but I think that it's different. And also, I'm driven in a different way because my brain is always hearing those people getting on me. And I don't want to hear it. So I do what I can to not hear it. I got off track a little bit, but I do want to hear in the comments what you think about age order. Who has the advantage there? I think we have different perspectives depending on who we are, but I want to hear. What do you think about that? Okay, so also while you're thinking, continue thinking about your unearned advantages. I will say that during this part of the class, this is where people begin to become very uncomfortable because they are starting to recognize that there are a lot of advantages that they have in the world that they did not earn. We also talk about your unearned disadvantages, right? And so in that, and it's very interesting. Someone should do like a study on this. But it's very interesting because people have a way easier time bringing up their disadvantages or acknowledging their disadvantages than they do their advantages. And maybe there's not a whole lot of mystery behind that. But yeah, when we talk about our disadvantages, those things come to us a lot easier, right? So for me, my unearned disadvantages is that I am Black. I am a woman. I am Black in America. I am a woman. I am short. I cannot reach things. I am disabled in that my vision is not good at all. If I turn these glasses to the side, y'all will be like, wow. And I will go, mm-hmm. Um, Unearned disadvantages is um, that I didn't grow up rich. Um, Unearned disadvantage is that my parents divorced when I was a kid. Um, yeah, I could go on if I thought long enough about my unearned disadvantages. You can think about those too, and think about just like where you have power and where you don't. And then that helps us move seamlessly into the next activity, which is power. It's called a powerhouse activity. And in the workbook, you're given like the grid of the powerhouse, and you write in one column systems are people who have unearned advantages, right? And then the center column, you write people who are either targeted or oppressed in relation to the people who have power. And then in the third column, you write the name of the system that creates that imbalance of power. So one of the examples we have in the power column, we have white, and in the oppressed or targeted group, we have Black or POC. And then in the systems column, we have racism. Does that make sense? So another one would be in the power column, we would put able-bodied. And then in the targeted group, we will put disabled. And then in the system, it would be ableism. Got it? And so once you get this workbook, and I'm just speaking that into existence because I know you're going to go to the link in my bio and you're going to click, you're going to get that book because this is really important work to do. You're gonna fill out the powerhouse, and then you're gonna look at yourself and you're gonna say, okay, this is where I have power, which we talked about a bit before when we talked about our unearned advantages, right? And then you're gonna see also in black and white where you don't have power. You'll see the name of the system, and it's really important to name the system. The reason it's important to name the system is because if you don't name the system, it's just like a thing. It's just like a thought. It's just out there. And there's nothing you can really do about a thought that floats in the air. But if you give it a name, if it's an actual thing, then it's something that you can do something about. And that's why it's important for it to have a name. So when people look at the powerhouse, they usually get like this uncomfortable feeling, like, oh, look at all this power I hold, right? And what I would like for you to do is to not stay there in the ugh of it, right? Understand that the unearned advantages that you have, or unearned advantages in general, mean nothing in real life. I'm not better than anybody else because I am straight. I am not better than anybody else because I am cisgender. I am not better than anybody else because I speak English. In fact, I only speak English. I would like to add a couple more languages to my repertoire. Do you understand? So even though these are unearned advantages of mine, I can use those unearned advantages to help people who don't have those unearned advantages, who are actually in the opposite, the oppressed group, right? I can use my unearned advantages to help them get into spaces where they are not seen, heard, or respected. I can amplify their voices in that space until they're welcome in that space and then they can speak for themselves, of course. I can not be a safe space for bigotry and make sure that, when people are talking down about these groups, that they don't feel safe doing that around me. I can just use my unearned advantages as like a Trojan horse to help folks who do not have those advantages. That is allyship. That's it. No one's asking you to save the world. We're just asking you to show up for your fellow humans. But also, showing up also means knowing when to be quiet. And that's a really important skill to have too. If you want to know more about that, guess what you can do? Sign up for that class. Ooh, sign up for the class. Just sign up for the class. You know what you should do? You should just sign up for the class. Okay, I'm moving on. After the powerhouse, we're very much aware now of our unearned advantages and some of our earned advantages. Sometimes we work really hard to get a good job where we make a lot of good money or have a lot of really good influence, and we can use those earned advantages to help people too. If you are at a table where people are being creative and they're creating something for a large group of people and you don't see those people represented at that table, you can use your earned advantage to say, it's not right for us to be making a whole bunch of decisions for people who are not at this table to represent that group of people. You can say that. You can use your advantage of having a seat at that table to open up more seats for people who should be in the room. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. So you can talk about how you can use or think about how you can use your earned advantages and unearned advantages to help amplify the voices of those who are not respected and heard and valued in certain spaces. That is, in a nutshell, that 101 workbook, 101 workbook. It is, in a nutshell, in a very tiny nutshell, the um the 101 class that I do for people here locally and virtually for anyone who wants a 101 class for their organizations, for whatever group they happen to be a part of. I love to do the 101 conversation because this training, because it definitely gets people talking, it gets people thinking about how they can begin to make a difference. And if you go through this workbook and you're like, yes, I want to know more, excellent. Please go to the link in my bio and sign up for what? Practical Allyship for Life and Business, taught by me, Coach Rashida Bonds, and Simone Soul. Go to that class because we go further. We talk about next steps, things that are practical. It doesn't make everything seem overwhelming. The world can feel right, especially right now, but I don't know when I haven't felt this way, that the world's problems are big and overwhelming, and I am too small to fix the world. That's true. I am too small to fix the world, but there's so much that I can do. There's so much that I can do that can help at least my world. And then hopefully that can have a ripple effect upon the world overall. But I can only start with me and the world that's surrounding me. And that's all you can do. You can only start with you and the world that's surrounding you. And so I want to highly encourage you to get this ebook, to take the class. And then if you are seeing this on the day that it airs, which is a Wednesday, then please sign up soon so you can go to the class tomorrow. We're having a question and answer. We're not finished. We're having a question and answer session. Me and Simone are going to answer some questions for folks who have gone through this process, the ebook, the class, and then actually after the class, you're going to get a list of introspective questions that you can bring your answers to the Q&A. And that's what we'll be doing. But even if you are seeing this a year from now, 2 years from now, whenever, you can still have access to all of those things. You can see the class, you'll have the ebook, and you'll be able to see the Q&A recording. You'll always have access to that, even if this is a year or two later that you're seeing this particular video. I wanted to give this to you because as I go further in my interviews on this channel, we're going to be talking about this stuff, but we're not going to be necessarily going deeply in depth about this stuff, but the next steps. What do you do next? Now that you have a really good cultural humility foundation, you understand where your power lies in this country and in this world and how you can wield it to help your fellow human. Now that you know that, the people that I'm going to be talking to on this channel, we're going to talk about how you can go further. What is your next step? What can you do next? So I want to make sure that you have this as a good foundational part. And my videos that you've seen before, they are really good foundational videos. Make sure you see those. Make sure you check those out. My guests are freaking amazing and so smart. And most of them are where I got all of my knowledge from. But go see those. Now that you have this good working foundation, it's time for you to go further because this is just the beginning. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, month, year, and life. I went through all of them, but I do. I hope you have wonderful all of those things. And I will catch you back here next time. All right? All right. See you later.